Interesting. Well,
I've watched it and I need to hang it up.
Let me say this. There is nothing more life-ending than folding laundry after it's dried. You know what I'm saying? That's the one where you're just like, ah, fuck off.
Yeah. I feel like that's an okay part of it because it's done then.
No, but it's not because you still got to
The
fold
hanging
it
it out for me is the part where
Really?
it feels like, oh, life is just laundry.
Oh, that's the part where it feels like anticipation. Ooh, excited. Excited to wear your new favorite shirts again. Get your skin excited. Ooh, it's going to be fun. And then you got to fucking fold it. Oh, there's something just so back-breaking about going like this. Yeah, I throw up on my shirts.
No, for me, it's the hanging out. It is the hanging out that I feel is so tedious. It's tedious.
So to carry over from a subject from Sunday, Ryan Tiberty of the Late Late Show left his
Ryan
post.
Ryan Tubby-Doo, yes.
Because we didn't know at the time why he left. We now do know is that he was paid an extra 300,000 euro by the bosses.
I don't know if that's why he left. I don't think it is. We just have it's just been uncovered that he was getting a bigger wage, seemingly.
I would just like to point out Ryan Tebberty's response was he has no responsibility for the corporate governance in RTE or how or what they publish in their accounts. So basically he's saying, not my fucking problem. They didn't put what my salary was, which is, I have to say, a real interesting perspective. Well,
I do think it's one of those things where what?
You froze for a second, and what I just and so I
yes, so did you.
Oh, now we're accusing each other. No, what I was just saying was, it really comes across like Ryan Tuberty is saying "fuck you" to them when they're just asking a legitimate question of like, "Well, how much were you paid?" And he's like, "It's not my fucking job to tell you how much the government's supposed to pay me."
Yeah, there's a very good chance that he didn't actually have much to do with it.
Go on.
I mean, he's not responsible for making it public information.
That's true. Well, he is a broadcaster. Isn't it his job to broadcast information?
No, it's somebody within the broadcasting house.
Completely. And it's also the Late Late Show didn't center around how much was the host earning. It was centering around awkward chats with celebrities and unnecessarily saccharine toy reviews. But no, you are correct. But it's just an interesting response. I always just find it funny when people stonewall where they're like, not my fucking problem.
Yeah, it's an immature response, I think. It's a bit like, not my job. It's the same as people saying I'm going to distance myself from this event.
It's also the Taoiseach, Leo. Oh, how do I say this last name? Varadkar? Is that the Taoiseach's last name? Varadkar?
I'm freezing really, really badly. I think I'm going to leave and come back.
You are leave and come back. See Ashley. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, Ashley has gone a John-free episode of UTS. Once again, if you're not listening on Sunday, we are bringing this program to an end on July 8th. July 8th, 2 days before my 38th birthday, will be the final actual live stream of UTS at 10 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there. Have fun. Send in your favorite memories and moments. We look forward to you all being in the chat one last COVID time. I assume cameras will dance to the theme. Baldy will say bonjour, no. All of those fine things. I am. Oh, Ashley's back. Let's see how this goes. Ashley, welcome back.
Hi.
Hi. Are you still you're frozen again.
Leo Varadkar.
Ashley. Ashley, it froze so bad. Oh, it's freezing so bad.
Oh no.
Go reset your router.
I'll do it. Okay.
Okay, bye. This is the as you can see here, why we're ending the program is we can't even get through a fucking episode with even two of the hosts. It's just me, guys. What is this? What is it? November of 2020? My God. Should I review some hummus? Should I start going through the early parts of my divorce? I do miss that sofa, by the way. That sofa bit the dust in fucking bedbug time, and goddamn do I miss it. Oh my god. One of the most comfortable sofas I ever had. An IKEA sofa. We found it at an IKEA in Montreal with my ex-wife, and I took a photo of it and ordered it. And two gentlemen showed up, and I'll never forget this. They parked the IKEA truck on an angle in front of my apartment building in Koreatown in Los Angeles, and unloaded that motherfucker and blocked so much traffic, and they could give a fuck. And then Jimmy McGee built all of it. I didn't realize this, but Jimmy McGee, British comedian, was staying with me at the time. And they dropped everything off, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a fucking nightmare." And he went, "A nightmare? I love this stuff." And I went, "What?" And he organized it all and built my sofa and my bed. It was fucking nuts. Yeah, craziness. I do miss that. I miss that apartment? Like the times I had in that apartment, so much fucking darkness. A lot of fun, amazing light times as well. It was my COVID home. I don't know how you guys feel about where you were during COVID, but I absolutely fucking loved certain aspects of COVID, as of course explained on this program. Doing this program was a very fun part of COVID, if I'm totally honest. But it was also just like it was a real place. It's a real place where I did some thinking. God, did I do some smoking on that roof? Did some smoking on that roof. Watched the fires of two looter riot groups heading towards me. Had breakfast with someone yesterday actually who you know those moments where you were in the same experience but two very different perspectives on it, I always say. So during the LA portion of the BLM uprisings, Stand Tall Brothers, I of course was in Los Angeles and had two rides on opposite sides of my apartment building. And he was like, it wasn't that scary. And I had to be like, maybe where you lived, big boy, up in fucking Glendale. But where I was, shit was realer than real. Oh, I just got an alert from let's see what Ashley's saying. She's doing a total restart. Sorry. Well, let's see if this provides any more options. I also would say this as this program comes to an end. Other things you want to catch the hosts on, you can re-listen to Chris on Big Shiny Podcast. I don't know if they're doing a second season of that ever. Probably not, seeing as it's been about 2 years. You can also check out John and Dylan online, which is my new podcast with Dylan Gott, no longer talking about wrestling, but instead talking about moments in internet history. And I don't know if Ashley is starting a new podcast. Maybe we'll start a podcast about the Grateful Dead, the Grateful Pod, where I just talk about how good the Grateful Dead are. I don't think I'll actually do that because I think only I care about how much I like the Grateful Dead. But yes, just because the show is ending does not mean that the host will stop bringing you content. It just means I'm not going to be bringing you this particular content. Sad though, isn't it? So yeah, please make sure to reach out with favorite memories and be there July 8th. The ad ends and we go back to the Killing Time broadcast with me, John Boy Hastings. I head over to I have to tell you, I have not been in one place this long in years, and it has been so nice to just be home for this. Like, it has been awesome. I've slept one night not in my bed. You got to get yourself some of that. I don't know if you guys have ever done that. Sleeping in your own bed every night. Woo! I was reading a sleep study, and they're like, "Oh, sleeping in a hotel room bed, you get between 10 and 30% less sleep because you're between 10 and 30% more awake because you're in a foreign place, and that's just something your lizard brain does." And holy fuck, is that correct? I always was so jealous of like people, you ever like crash at someone else's house and like someone that can sleep late at someone else's home. I'm not that person, you know what I mean? I'm in someone else's environs. Like, I'm up with a fucking jump. I was up with a fucking jump today. Up at 4:30 in the morning to take a fiery black shit. And it was one of those ones, what, it was just long enough that you're not going back to sleep now. Like, you're just like, you had to wake up enough of your brain to get the poison out. And now it's like, well, we fought the battle, but we lost the war. And so I sat up in the darkness, at one point spooking a stray cat. A new stray cat has made its way into my life. It lives in the backyard. His name is Turtle. I have been feeding him every day, and I love him. And hasn't let me pet him yet, but we'll get there. feed him. He stood very close to me and by about 3 feet and looked at me, which I don't know how much you know about cats, but that is huge. And I just read about this Russian Civil War situation. I, by the way, have never missed the chat more in my life until right now. This whole situation, it's fine. I'm not one that really worries about riffing slow. But this would be so much easier if there was a nice stream of Melarkay. I also I'm develop. I might be there might be a new podcast coming out from old John Hastings. Watch one of my spaces. Just I'm an idea is percolating. I was going to say, oh yeah. So then I fed the stray cat this morning around 5:30. He was fucking jacked. Oh my god, do yourself a favor. Feeding a stray cat is real good because when they usually will run away from the food, but when they come back, they have just such a body language of like, what is this fucking shit here? Like, imagine you leave what you think is your bedroom and you come back and there's a full buffet in there. Where the fuck did this come from? Doesn't question it. He eats it right away. I really respect that. This is a Star Trek mug. I technically got it for my girlfriend, but it's a really good mug. And she was asleep when I was making coffee. So I got it. Now, Ashley has come back.
I'm back. I'm so sorry that took so long. My computer just kind of froze up a bit.
Totally fine. We talked loads. We talked about how this is my girlfriend's mug. We talked about the new stray cat that's living in the backyard. Lots of, we really covered the gamut.
Something I was going to bring up was that in the past couple of weeks, I've joined a library again. And
what do you mean?
I hadn't joined one since I moved country. I just didn't kind of.
Oh, you just didn't get a library card? I love a fucking
didn't get a library card, and I just didn't think of it. I just didn't. I just was out of the habit of a library being a thing, and now it's like my favorite thing.
It's great place to work. There is an excellent library in the North London Finsbury Park region. If you go by the Haringey train station up, there is a tiny little library tucked in there. Absolutely fill your fucking boots.
That sounds delightful.
It is really nice, yeah.
That sounds really, really nice. Yeah, I'm now taking books out of the library and reading them. They also have an app and you can just take audiobooks out.
Do you just get them digitally?
You just get them digitally.
Oh, that's fucking quality, mate. Yeah.
It's so good, but you still only rent it for a time.
Of course.
But you can listen to a whole audiobook.
Speaking of audiobooks, I'm listening to a audiobook called The Fall of Berlin 1945. Holy fucking bleak. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like just nightmares after nightmares just reading about the Red Army advancing on Berlin. Like, oh my Christ. All you're sitting there thinking is just like, well, it's a good thing that all of these people are going to die soon so their suffering ends.
Oh no, that's horrible.
Yeah, like
just you like to go into the bleak stuff, don't you? For all the shit you guys give me, you're equally bleak.
I mean, I like a bit of history, and it really adds some context into right now, which is like when you're like, why are Poland and Germany so freaked out that Russia's on the march again? And then you read about what happened when Russia marched through, and you're like, oh, right. Yeah. Oh, they
did some things.
I mean, like because they have all the reports because it was the Soviet Union was, if nothing, a giant bureaucracy. So they have all of the chains of commands, and they're basically like, we just cannot stop these soldiers from gang raping the civilian population. And Stalin's like, well, I guess that's what happens when you get to Germany. What are we like? You know? And it's like, it slowed the Red Army. The amount of evil they were doing slowed them.
They took their time.
The thing, the Americans almost got to Berlin. How America so the Americans are literally in fucking France, and the Americans get all the way to the fucking banks of the river across from Berlin because of how long it takes the Red Army to get to Berlin because of how slowed they were by the destruction. It is, you want to throw up your soul. It is a nightmare, but also so fucking fascinating. Like, it is the most interesting, formative moments and days of we are literally living in the result of what happened in those weeks. And there's a couple of moments where you're like, I want to find Winston Churchill and just tell him, stop drinking in the fucking morning and pay attention to Stalin, you motherless fuck. And Roosevelt, Don't put Harry Truman in charge. He's a short warmonger. Put that other guy in charge, Henry Wallace, who was a bit of a socialist. That may not be a good idea. He'll probably get killed by Stalin too. Just don't die. Put your wife in charge.
Yeah.
Actually, how much do you know about Eleanor Roosevelt? Because of all of my
Not
friends,
very much.
I feel like you and Eleanor Roosevelt would have dated. Eleanor Roosevelt was married her cousin, Franklin. They were rich people. It was done at the time was like a political
Yeah.
marriage. He did it. More than likely she was a lesbian. Like more than like she was pretty like like that was sort of the rumor, and she was like one of those sort of withering, very rich like East Coast aristocracy people. Like, are you a
Mhm.
lesbian? And she went, "Oh, I wouldn't accuse me of doing something so lovely." Like one of those people. Like just
Right. Okay. Sure.
yeah. Called John Kennedy a peacock to his face.
Wow.
I didn't know Catholics were so proud. Like just an absolute asshole. Fucking rule and like
Wow.
so much power. Do you
Yeah, I'd probably be into that, to be
what did
fair.
your husband do? Was there a car in your room?
It sounds like it's in my room, doesn't it?
Actually, is your flat do you live in the medium of a road? What the fuck was
I
that?
live right on a road.
Man, I gotta tell you, I miss Glasgow. Everyone, Glasgow seems like a nice place to
Come
have
to Glasgow for an afternoon during the Fringe.
No, what are you talking about?
Why?
Because I'm not gonna take a train out of Edinburgh during the Fringe.
Why?
Stay in Edinburgh. You got to do stuff in Edinburgh.
But you can have an afternoon in Glasgow. You've a
Incorrect.
whole month in Edinburgh.
Incorrect. You're there to work. No going to Glasgow. There's no going to Glasgow.
Why?
Go to a gig. Get people in the room because I'm strapping. This is going to be a motherfucker of a month. Like let no one be fooled.
But why can't you take an afternoon in Glasgow?
Because you need to stay in Edinburgh and be gigging and making sure people get into your little room because it's going to be a month-long war of attrition.
One day.
You can have one day. I will be getting people into my room for the purposes of stand-up comedy.
Your work ethic is flawed.
Incorrect.
No, I'm right, and I know I am. I don't need to win the argument because I will win the life.
We'll see.
What was I going to say? I came across a book recently that I did think you'd be interested in, and it wouldn't surprise me if you already knew about it.
Coloring book?
No, it is called The Muppets in Moscow. And it's
no matter what this book is, I want to read it. Is it about Kermit trying to become a communist?
It's literally about trying to broadcast the Muppets in Russia.
Oh, this is good. I want to read this so badly.
I saw it and I just thought that's a book for John Hastings.
That's so funny. Just Kermit represents the bourgeoisie. Can I say this about the Muppets? And it's always bothered me. It's just so. It's not that both Kermit and Miss Piggy are both puppets and they can't have sex. They are different species, and that has always bothered me. That a pig and a frog cannot fuck.
Yeah, but they're Muppets.
They're still animal. They're still like. Okay, but a frog and a pig are still animals, but they're still different species.
Both felt.
I don't think that they're both felt. They could be still different. We don't know that for sure. There might be two different materials.
They are puppets and Muppets, and you don't need to think about it.
I do think I need to think about it. Also, I don't think that Fozzie Bear gets the respect he deserves, and he was, in my opinion, the best one.
Sure. The book, though, is it's about just trying to create a Russian adaptation of the Muppets in Sesame Street. And
talk about Glee.
But it's in the early 1990s, so communism had collapsed.
Oh my god, it's in like the weird soft Q Yeltsin time where they're like burning down their White House and shit. Yeah,
so it's in that time period, and it looks into a lot of like why they can't make it for a while, and it seems like an interesting book. I didn't read it, so I don't know it fully.
Snuffleupagus. I assume Snuffleupagus is in the FSB. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Oscar the Grouch is just a microphone in a trash can.
I think you should put it on your list, and I think it just seemed like something you really wanted.
Cookie Monster doesn't like cookies. He just likes good government cooperation. Government cooperation, government cooperation. Yum, 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 yum. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember more Sesame Street references that I can turn into
Sure.
propaganda for, oh, god damn.
Comedic value.
Yeah. Snuffleupagus is Alexander Navalny, and they just kill him in the first episode. Do not listen to him. He is full of partisan ideas. This is how fucked Russia is, Ashley. Is even the guy that is in prison for being a dissenter who calls for democracy is still like, this Ukraine war is awesome, though. Like, do you understand how fucked that country is? Where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, let's hope we get this reformer in who still believes there's a bunch of gay demons in Kiev. Ah, what a time we live in.
We do live in a time.
So, Ashley, when you get to the stand tonight, what is your job going to be? Are you going to be running the board? Are you going to be, and spell that board, is it going to be BORED or BOARD? Are you going to be doing stand-up comedy? What are we doing?
No, I'm teching.
You're teching, so you are running the board.
No, I don't go near the board.
Then how are you teching?
Running? Oh, you mean running the soundboard?
Yeah, what board did you think I was talking
I thought you
about?
meant the bloody chalkboard. I was like, what are you talking about?
No, you don't go near that. You're out of your mind.
Yeah, that's what I thought I thought you were out of your mind.
But you're the tech. When you hear board,
I would tech. I wouldn't call it a board.
What do you call it?
The desk.
The desk. Very British of you.
It's the desk.
What is going on in your house? Are you living with a Foley artist?
Did that door just close?
Yes.
Me? I think that's what just, okay, that's fine. That's just the wind.
What the hell is going on in your house? Jesus,
I am a bit haunted today, aren't I?
More than a bit, I think. The lights just dimmed, by the way, I'll have you know. They just went bright and then really low. Ashley, are you being visited by a poltergeist?
I might well be.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I don't think so.
Oh, explain yourself.
But I think I believe enough to get really freaked out if I feel like I'm in a haunted, like I'm a little freaked out right now.
I don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe places can be haunted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, I don't really believe in ghosts, but I still get the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
I don't
makes no sense. What am I afraid of if I don't believe there's anything there, you know?
I don't believe in ghosts, but I once was taking a pee in a darkened park and 4 Russian guys came out of the mists, and I just thought, well, they're looking for someone to do something to, and I'm going to leave. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying, Ashley?
I know what you're saying.
That was the moment where I ever came the closest to seeing ghosts, where there was literally no one there, and then there was just 3 guys, hello, and I was like, okay, I'll be leaving now. Like, it was like, I don't know.
That sounds like something that should be in a film. I really like the scene.
Hello, we are from Russia. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I mean, I miss the old style Putin Russians showing up when Britain was in the EU, and there would just be 3 guys in tracksuits that no one wanted to talk to in a bar. That was the best time. Just 8 silent brutes in a hostel. That's how you just knew. Where are they from? Russia. What are they doing? Well, they haven't left the hostel in 4 days, and they've been drinking.
I told my very highly educated friend recently that now she's really, really engaged with politics, really kind of knows stuff. And I am not one of those people. I don't think I'm completely ignorant, but I'm not really well read on politics and stuff like that. But I told her my theory, which I think I've told you before, about how I believe that the IRA and the Russians are in bed and that they caused Brexit to happen. That's my theory that I have just kind of made up.
I mean,
but I told her that, and she was like, huh. And that made me feel really good.
I mean, you're not wrong. I
don't think I'm wrong. This is the thing. I have no basis for having this opinion. I have not founded this in any research. It's just a gut instinct that I have gone along with and developed into my own little conspiracy theory. But I think I'm right.
I was in Belgium in 2017, and there were a bunch of UKIP staffers, and they were all rough as guts swamp donkeys from shithead Ireland. And the Irish comedian I was with said they're with the Raw, and I went, what? And he was like, they work for UKIP. Where do you think those guys went? No, you're 100. That's exactly, like, it's one of those things where it's
the fun thing is that I don't have the knowledge or the backing to have this opinion. I just do.
I think, but it's also I disagree in that you do, and that you understand the players just intrinsically from
Yeah.
being an Irish person that's in Britain. You're like, well, who would back this? Like, who would want this to
Yeah.
happen more than anything? It's a bunch of guys named Michael who are from that weird the borders. You know what I'm saying? Oh
Yeah.
God.
I
I,
don't have any evidence, but I suppose it is a little bit of an educated guess.
can I say this? No group of men suck harder than the group of guys that then you're taken aside because you're in a weird bar in either Belfast or one of those weird small Irish towns, and then like someone goes there with the, and they either say raw or what's the other
The
IRA
GA,
slang? The It's not the guy, because the guy is
the sports team.
the sports one, but there's another IRA slang that's not the raw. It's like, so oh, what the fuck is it?
I'm
It's like
not sure.
it's like the boy. It's something like that. And it's 2 times in my life has someone been like, "That's who these people are," and both times you're like, "Oh, fucking gross!" Like they have.
I can't think what you mean for
Damn, I
that
can't think what
second
it.
one.
It's 2 times in my
Yeah.
life, and
It's one of
I've
those ones that I know once you or
exactly.
somebody says it, I'll know what you mean, but right now my brain can't reach for it.
It's one of those things. Movies do not capture the menace, and because I've been around. I've served guys that were in the mob when I worked in a restaurant in Montreal. I've met like guys that were supposedly in the IRA, and I've met Hell's Angels. I've done stand-up comedy for Hell's Angels, and all 3 of those groups have this sense of menace. And this is going to sound really weird. That is so irritating. This is very bizarre. Like it's intimidating, but like intimidating, like in a like, when you have that little like spiky bit of nail in your finger bed,
Yeah.
it's like that of fear. Like you're just like, oh, real. Like here's what it is. They're all so fucking intellectually stupid that you're
Sure.
like, I have to be concerned about you guys, and I'm pretty sure 2 of you can't read, and that's so.
Yeah.
Isn't this
Yeah, I
embarrassing
know what
for
you mean.
us? Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that is embarrassing.
and it's for everyone.
I feel like I should be able to outwit you and get away from you, but I'm too afraid to be able to do it.
It's exactly that. I should be able to outwit you, but I am not. I am not prepared to
But
take the steps.
you're not using any sort of strategy here. You're just gonna knock me the fuck out.
Or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just you're throwing glass. It's just gonna be unfun and
Yeah.
stupid. Oh, such a weird
Real
organization.
stupid.
Oh, I'm so like it's one of those ones where that's such a specific emotion that you like not everyone can know what you're talking. Oh, it's so irritating. Scotland does not have one of those groups of guys. It's very specific places have those groups of guys. Like there's no group. For me, I'm also a 6'4" straight white male. You'd be surprised how much it takes to intimidate me.
Sure. I think that anybody who follows the Celtic and Rangers stuff falls into that
Oh
category.
yeah, how boring.
The ones who
How-
really get into that kind of give me that vibe.
I remember once being on stage at the Glasgow stand, and I made some reference to that, and someone went watch it, and I just went, "I don't believe in your made up bullshit." And one woman screamed with joy. I'll never forget. She went, "Yeah!"
I don't like leaving my house on sports days in general, but I really, really dislike it when there's a Celtic Rangers game on.
Oh, I resent it. I still get angry. What I'm now picturing is just trying to get into stupid Finsbury Park tube on a stupid Arsenal day, man. Gunners. Oh, fuck. Like literally, you should be allowed to stab them in the throat. Like it just like I will never forget this guy.
I just think they shouldn't be allowed to use public transport or something.
They shouldn't be allowed to use public oxygen. They're fucking dumb fucks.
That's a great line. That is a great line.
I have no fucking time. Nothing they are participating in is helpful to society. Do you understand how many fathers I've seen pissing against a wall while holding the hands of their child?
Yeah.
Like it's just, sirs, you should be embarrassed. It is not a situation that could be hindered by the addition of a flamethrower and me. You know what I mean? Like that's just move it along. Oh, just in part of the problem, by the way, is which I learned this fact from Simon Munnery. The reason why Arsenal fans are such a problem is because, unfortunately, their stadium, how is this explained? It's the Arsenal Stadium and then the Finsbury Park Tube Station where all the pubs are that they go before the games are
Mhm.
two different police boroughs. So it's like,
Ah,
and where
okay.
two of the pubs are technically aren't in any police jurisdiction because they're just in like weird zones. Granted, this was said to me by Simon Munnery, so who the fuck knows if it's true? Because that guy is a booze bag. But sounds right because there was never any. There was always police in like certain parts, but they get to this nebulous sort of hinterland and just be assholes.
Hmm.
I have a question. How close are you to a Glasgow or Rangers stadium? Or I guess it actually just takes over Glasgow because they
It
just go
just
into
takes
all the
over the
pubs
whole place,
and
yeah.
have scran.
I'm not really near one, thankfully. I'm not near Ibrox.
Is
But
that what it's called? So what is Ibrox the stadium?
Ibrox is the area, but there's a stadium in Ibrox.
And are both stadiums in Ibrox?
No, Ibrox is the Rangers one, I think, and then I actually don't know where the Celtic one is.
I gotta tell
If
you,
there is one, I don't engage.
Ibrox is a terrible name for an area. It sounds like a scab
It does. It's not a good name.
or like a cleaning product of some description. Although Glasgow has many assets, all of the names of its locations are really fucking weird. Like they're hard to remember. They don't fall off the tongue. I know when people
Yeah.
say like the stand is in the West End, that doesn't feel like it's in the West. That doesn't feel the West.
No.
It's just geography.
It does though.
Disagree.
It is
I've
the
also
west of Glasgow.
I've just never lived in Glasgow, so I don't really have a
Yeah.
geographical idea. You know what I'm saying? It's also just
Yeah.
Glasgow is one of those weird things. It doesn't have a. I find it difficult to accept, like to find a center of Glasgow. Well, and it's the other problem is with Edinburgh. Edinburgh has like 4 excellent anchor hubs that everything kind of
Yeah.
radiates out from: the
I
castle,
think when you
Holyrood, the
talk about the
Transvaal.
West End, you're definitely talking about from Partick up to the Botanics and out towards Great Western Road. That's kind of the West End, and Woodlands Road is within that, and kind of Kelvin Grove Park. That's all West End.
Oh my God, you've lived in Glasgow. That way you said Partick to the Botanics. I feel like you should be wearing a black T-shirt with a tail. That's a Billy Connolly reference.
Okay.
Partick to the Botanics. What do you not? Have you not watched any Billy Connolly
I
stand-up
have not
shows?
watched very much at all.
Ashley,
I
he's
know.
fucking awesome. He's
I
the
do
best.
know this, but I just have not really watched very much Billy Connolly, which is really bad. I've gotten
I don't
away
know.
with not admitting that for the
Oh,
entire time I've lived in Scotland.
Ashley, it's
I
so
know.
you really like it. That's the thing. There's like
I know.
he's
I
a
just haven't watched it.
his documentary,
And I
Billy
think
Connolly.
I'm pretty certain we had his DVDs in my house growing up, but we
Oh
just
my
never put them on.
God, yeah, Billy Connolly. Just watch Billy Connolly Made in Scotland. It's just this charming, lovely Scottish man talking about how much it makes you love Glasgow. Like that guy, even though
Sure.
he's like barely lived there in 40 years, he's such a fucking like raw. He's a real pep rally for the town.
Mm,
There's a pub that he used to go to all the time that has a song called the Saccharine Head. It's now closed.
okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, oh, just watch that Billy Connolly Made in Scotland. That's a real
I
recommendation.
will watch it. The thing is, I think I did see them when I was quite young, and it's that thing of
Oh, you'd
you
hate
think
it when
you've
you're
seen it, and then but you wouldn't. Yeah, you don't really take it on board, but you acknowledge that you've seen it.
yeah, just watching a man in a t-shirt, it would make no sense to what this is until like
Yeah,
now that you're an adult being like, oh, I love it.
yeah. I do need to watch it, and I'm very aware that I do.
Is there something from your childhood that you have like judgment of that you like carried forward way too long into your life? I hated
Like
couscous
what?
I hated couscous as a child, and I didn't eat it
Sure.
until I was like 37. Then I was like, oh, it's just rice. What the fuck have I been doing?
Yeah,
How
I'm sure I
bourgeois was
do, but
my
I can't
childhood?
think of what they might have been.
Was it also couscous?
No, it wasn't couscous. I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do, but I can't think of anything.
Well, Interesting.
What a real dead end for that
That's
bit
fine.
that you
So
tried to bring up.
that's fine. So when are your parents going to get access to the house? Are you excited? Are you going to go visit? What's going to happen
I'm
with
gonna
their
go visit as soon
RV?
as I can. They're
Are you going to
keeping
be
the camper van because they want to be able to go off for weekends, but they don't want to live in it full time, which I think is good.
Speaking of living in a camper van, how is your van life plan going? Hashtag
It's
van
not.
life. Oh,
It's
okay.
not. I'm accepting that I'm going to have to keep living in these shitty student style digs until such a time that the economy changes or I come into at least double the amount of money that I have to my name.
Fair.
And to be honest, even if I had double the amount of money I have to my name, I don't think I could do very much with it. I'm still relatively set on the idea of a tiny eco-friendly home.
Just get a van and park it in the woods and shit in the woods, and now you're eco-friendly. It's very easy to accomplish. Just shit in the woods.
I'm
You
not
shit in the
gonna shit
woods.
in the woods.
Where are you going to shit? In the van? That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, I will. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm kind of hoping I don't have to move out of this flat because it's cheap.
Is that a concern, or is that just what
No,
life
it
is like?
doesn't. It's not a concern at the moment. So hopefully, I'll end up being able to just stay here until I can move into something better, like a substantial different lifestyle change. I don't want to move into another flat again.
I see what you're saying. So just this will be your last flat until you can find something really row waka waka.
In theory, but that's probably not going to happen because the economy's fucked.
That is true. And you do live in the United Kingdom where they are, and I mean this, refusing to do anything about it.
Yeah, they really are.
It is
It's
laughable.
really hopeless.
It really is. Like I live in America, and America's doing fucking great. And it is.
Maybe
Like,
I'll move to America.
I mean, I would want it's not doing that great. Like I still wouldn't be here as a woman. No, depending on where you're going. No, America's fine. It's one of those things where the UK, like everything, has allowed the culture war to really jump out of the phone on into the world. Like the amount of people that you like talk about the greats, like the level at which it is okay to really, really attack the trans community within the United Kingdom is fucking mind melting. Like even in the United States is a level of I don't know what it is. Anyway, the US has some really terrifying corners, but there's also a huge swath of people that are literally like, no, we're not doing that and moving on. And I'm excited to see what happens to America in the next 10 years. I think the next election is going to be fucking insane, but I don't think Trump's going to win. Guess who I think is going to win? It's going to be me. That's right. Curveball. Twist. You know what I'm saying?
I think you'd be a great president.
I do not. I feel like I'd be a hothead, and I feel like I would be a dictator almost immediately because I would be a dictator almost immediately. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Chop. I'd be like FDR, bringing it back to the Eleanor Roosevelt conversation, a benevolent dictator. You can only be the president for 8 years. Guess what? It's 12. Who changed it? I did. He did that. Roosevelt was supposed to be out after 8 years, and he just went, nah, 12.
Really? I did not actually know that. That's
yes,
really
he did.
Fun.
It was in the middle of World War II, and he was just like, we're not having an election. And they've had elections in all sorts of wars. Like, I think they had one during the guy who was leading the Mexican-American War, Zachary Taylor, I think was in the middle of the war. And they were like, oh, you won the presidency. And he's like, well, that's good. But yeah, no, he was just like, nah, I stay in charge.
Wow. Fair play.
And then he died on a train. They don't know when he died because they just lied about when he died because they were just trying to get him somewhere safe. But there was he got off his train and there's reports of he was sleeping and they unloaded him off and people were like, yeah, sleeping. And then he died the next day. And
that's insane.
He's crazy.
I don't know enough about FDR.
Oh, Ashley, there is nothing better than American presidents. The early 20th century American presidents, up till Nixon, it is strap in for a variety of personality disorders meeting power.
Nice.
Yeah, you read about FDR's cousin and uncle and cousin. Yeah, pretty incestuous. Teddy Roosevelt. Just a full sociopath and psychopath. When he was the commissioner of police for New York City, he would stay up all night hanging out in Central Park just to beat up criminals.
Good Lord.
Good Lord, indeed. Like, don't you even read about that? And you're like, why are you bragging about that, Teddy? And he's like, because I'm good at my job. And you're like, are you, bud?
Oh,
Are you?
wow. I didn't know that at all. Maybe I should, I should really get more into that.
Isn't that one of those facts that
Um,
just makes you so interested, but also so like,
Yeah, I'm not sure I should really go there, but there's a morbid sense of
it'd
curiosity.
be like if finding out like, oh, Bill Clinton loved licking cauliflower. You'd be like, I gotta know more about that. I gotta know more. Oh
But I
God.
also feel like as soon as I start to find out about it, it'll become mundane.
I disagree. That's not like, let me put it this way. You find out someone's big thing is they like licking cauliflower or hanging out in a park to beat up criminals. Either that's not something that gets more normal with more
Yeah,
information.
I suppose. I suppose. Um,
What is
I
happening where you
there's
are?
children screaming now, I think.
What kind of program is this? No wonder this show is ending. We've turned into
I can't
madness.
keep the windows closed. It's too hot. It is too hot. I bought some plants this week and they're just
Are they
what is
dead?
going on?
Can you get your camera over to your window? Can we get a
No, I'm not gonna film children. I can't
Ashley,
stream children.
Go over to your window. Let's get a report of what's going on.
The thing
Come
is,
on.
most of the time when I look out the window, I can't actually see them.
This is even
They're
better.
just
What are you
walking
talking about?
somewhere, and I can't really.
What are you talking? This literally sounds like it's happening inside my skull. Someone knocking on your door?
Yeah, I can't see
Come on.
anyone out there. They're just further up the street, but this street is like things just echo down it.
I don't believe you. How do you feel about that? I think you're a fucking liar.
I can't see them.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
I know. There's nothing we can do about it.
There's nothing we can't do anything about that.
Certainly not.
But I'm not lying to you. Why would I
Well,
lie to you, John Hastings?
I don't know. I don't. That's you
You're
know
one
what?
of my favorite people.
I know that's what makes this even more intriguing. You see what I'm saying? Why
I did
would
start
you?
off Sunday's show by saying I had no qualms about stabbing people in the back. So
You see? You see?
except that I do. I wouldn't do that to you.
Or do you?
Or would I?
Exactly.
So during the Fringe, my brother is coming up to visit.
Oh.
So that's going to be fun. So you'll get to meet my brother. I'm going to send him to your show one day.
Are you going to take
because
him to the Monkey Barrel bar and get him pissed?
I don't know, but
I think you should. You absolutely should take him around to all the artist bars and get him absolutely hammered.
We'll see. I don't know what the plan is going to be, but your show actually clashes with one of the shows that I'm working on, so I'm only going to be able to see you on that person's day off.
Who are you working for this year?
Roscoe McClellan.
Oh, that's good. That's real good.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun show, I think. But it's good because then I can send my brother along to see your show on one of the days that I have to do that while he's visiting.
Come along. Tickets violently still available.
Yes, me too, by the way. I have a Fringe show and it's on sale. And my poster turned out really fucking cool and I'm really happy about it.
Which stand are you in?
I'm in the Stands Newtown Theatre in the studio, which is a 70-seater room, which is but it's only for 2 days. I feel like I can get a decent amount of people in for 2 days if I bug all of my friends to share it on their social medias.
Correct.
Between now and then, as many times as is feasible.
Yeah.
Yes, I've got a few sales already since I posted it. Which I think is cool considering I wouldn't really know what I'm doing on that date just yet. But yeah, there's a few people. So I'm doing the 19th and 21st of August, 5:45 p.m. in the Newtown Theatre. John, you're at 8:35 in Monkey Barrel 2 every single day of the month.
Every fucking day. Even starting on July 31st, ladies and gentlemen.
You're starting on July 31st?
Yeah, I ain't a fucking cunt, motherfucker. We're fucking here to fucking take fucking care of business.
Idiot.
No, I'm not an idiot. But Monkey Barrel starts fucking early because there's also the thing of there's no previews anywhere else. Preview there, boom, get them in, hot word of mouth. No,
Oof.
all part of the plan. Weirdly, by the way, also But do come then. By the way, if you guys are looking for a time to come, it's much cheaper and it's a funner time. It was
Yeah.
also that thing of, because the reason why is I started 2 days earlier last year and they sold out because there's way less competition. And I think
Yeah.
that's going to be the situation again this year, just in terms of get them in often. But it's going to be an interesting one. There's no awards this year.
There's no awards this year.
Looks like there's no awards this year.
I did
There's
not
no-
know this.
there's
Why
no
is there
fucking-
no awards?
There's no money.
Oh.
Because the Dave and everyone else, because it's one of those things where it's expensive to do all these sort of things. Is it earning the corporate overlords the money that they want for the investment? That's negligible, but I think it's good. I think it's good for the performers' spirits, and it's returning the festival to what it should be all about. Tom
Is that why
Tuck
there's
getting drunk.
there's not many people coming up to do the festival this year?
No, that's because the United Kingdom's dying.
Sucks, yeah.
But I'll tell you what's not dying. Well, I'll tell you what is dying. This show. It died 36 seconds ago.
Yeah.
And I have been holding in a poo-poo for
I thought you went. I thought that's why you were late.
I was, but then it brought friends. I have to go do another poo-poo.
Okay,
ladies
well,
and
go
gentlemen,
take care of your bowels, and we will see
we
you
did-
all
I-
on Sunday.
once
Hopefully,
again,
we'll
we
get
didn't
Chris for
even
the last couple of
fucking-
episodes.
We didn't even.
But we're doing our
fucking-
live show on the 8th of July. It will be our last ever episode. I will probably cry.
I will definitely cry. I will definitely out secrets.
Then we'll
I will
be
giving-
moving on to new adventures.
I will be giving away Ashley's address, and my address, and Chris's address on July 8th. But I'm not going to say which person's address is which. You just have to go there and find out.
I mean, they're quite obvious. They're in different countries, for fuck's
Damn.
sake.
Ashley, as usual, we didn't start the show.
We didn't start the show.
Oh no, the Canadians are coming.
Chris, John, and Irish Ashley combine to make the ultimate team, better than any wet dream. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream. John's the CEO and boomer. Ashley's the real leader. Chris brings the vibes and juices as our enjoyment increases. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream.
See you next week, everybody.
And that's all. Penis into her vagina. And that's all.